Shalawam, shalawam. Gonna begin momentarily. All right, man. Facing the east, giving all praises, glory, and honor to the Heavenly Father and His Son, by way of the Holy Spirit, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham Kakwadash. Those are the true names of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Yahawah equals He is, He exists. That's the Father's name. Yahawashi equals He saves, He delivers. That's the Son's name. And Rakakwadash equals how you say a spirit holy, or Holy Spirit, and that's all in the Paleo Hebrew, the ancient Hebrew, also known as the Lashawan Kodash, the holy tongue, the holy language. All right, and that's how we call our power when we go forth, pray, and call upon our power. Those are the true names. No colonizer type names. None of these Yah, Yahusha, Yahweh, Yeshua, any of that. Not Jesus Christ either. Okay, it's Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham Kakwadash. Second of all, giving double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone, which rule well and teach well and sincerity taught us this truth. And Shalawam to the Lord's hopeful elect. All right, it's your brother Yerami Kazak back with hopefully another edifying lesson through the spirit, power, and strength of Yahawah Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham Kakadash. Shalawam, shalawam to all the brothers and sisters out there that's pushing truly in this truth, man. Maintaining yourself and trying to make it into those ships, man. All right. Now, what we're gonna go into today is data centers and basically chips, okay? Because it's it's a cover up where really it's just their enterprise which they're trying to come forth. But as we know, and let's get that in Job, the 5th chapter, that this enterprise is not gonna be, given a chance to really. It's gonna be established, but it's gonna be destroyed. Okay. So back in Job, the 5th chapter, verse 12, this is Yahawah. He disappointeth the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. Right? Let's get the word enterprise. Enterprise is basically wisdom, sound knowledge, success. All right. In the Strong's, it states their support, their ability, their undertaking, all right, their enterprise, that which thing as it is their substance. So you got a substance of wickedness that's coming forth. That's what they're bringing. That's what these Edomites are bringing forth to this earth. And that includes all their devices, the GMOs, the chemtrails, the data centers, right? Their system, their way of persecuting us, their way of tracking us, their way of attacking us, the wiles of the devil, right? So that's all aligned, and that's all a part of their beast system, right? But it has a part to play. So we know these things have to be established, right? And we rejoice when they're established, because the more that they're established, the closer we are to getting up out of here. Okay. So continue to build data centers, Esau. All right. Now I'm gonna read a little bit out of this article I got right here, and I got a video to play. I got a couple things, man. We're gonna dive deep into this. All right. So this is from the World Resource Institute. You could check that out. World Resource Institute. right? And it's a little article that's going into what's really happening, how the data centers are really affecting the communities, right? And you got reports of people talking about they're getting headaches, they're feeling bad, nauseous, and all of that. Yeah, that comes with it. Okay. Then you also have what? Power bills, all right? Water bills. They're telling people to take less showers, take 15-minute showers, 10-minute showers. Don't be in the shower so long. Okay, run less bath water. So those immediate effects is happening, but then you have more effects that's going to happen over time, such as the water reservoirs, the water that's preserved, the lakes, and all of that is going to run dry. Okay, this is Esau not giving a damn about the earth, man. From energy use to air quality, the many ways data centers affect U.S. communities. Energy prices and water use aren't the only way data centers affect U.S. communities. We break down the impacts and how some states are dealing with them, right? And as you can see, this is, a data center. And they range from this size to, and some of them are just massive, right? And this is a pretty big one, but some of them are extremely far larger than that, Now, if you are aligning with all of this, yeah, we use ChatGPT, we use Google, we use all of that. That was there before the data centers. Okay. So it's like, it's the convenience of these things that individuals are going to be drawn to. Well, don't we need these things for the world to get better or whatever? No, what? The issue is Esau. Esau is not coming forth and making the world better. You know what I'm saying? As the brother quoted two good scriptures, Proverbs 29:2. Okay, when the wicked rule the world, the people mourn. When the righteous rule, the people rejoice. Everybody's in a mourning state. Everybody's suffering. Everybody's in a position of being oppressed, and low. And the earth is suffering on top of that, right? And then Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, right? And we know who that is. Who is allowed to go forth and build data centers all over the planet? Okay? So keeping it going. AI tools like ChatGPT, navigation apps, and streaming platforms feel effortless, drawing information seamlessly from thin air. Yet the infrastructure behind them is anything but invisible. Right? Because to have all this data at the tip of your fingertips, they're saying that you need these data centers. But like I just said, bro, we had Google and all of that before. Okay? So they're pushing a certain narrative to increase the production of data centers. Because we understand they're going to be C camps. And you know what that means by that. All right? C camps. And yeah, they're furthering AI and making it more efficient. All right. But all of this is to control you. It's all moving towards a totalitarian government where they're controlling the private sector and the public. Every inch of what you do will be surveilled by Esau, and that's his enterprise. Across the country, a surge of new data centers is reshaping local energy grids, water systems, and land use. This rapid expansion is often happening with limited public information about the long-term impacts or benefits new data centers could bring. Limited public information. They don't have to tell you about this type of stuff. These things are just popping up and you have no control over it. You don't have to vote on it. You have no say in the matter. Who's building these things? Amazon, Microsoft, Nvidia, Elon Musk, Tesla, these individuals, these tech giants. They call them tech Mongols, tech mongers. All right. So they're aggressively bringing in tech. They're aggressively bringing in this new technology, which is in a form, it's witchcraft. Okay. 6G, 5G is witchcraft. Because what is it doing? It's casting a spell It's affecting you. It's harming you. All right. This phone, these type of phones, things like that, you can get, if you don't have a good spirit and you don't know, then you can get caught up on the phone, man. And you can be on the phone just scrolling, for an hour or so. You caught up in a little trance. That's why you got to be mindful, man. I check myself. I make sure I ain't on this shit like that. All right. You got to get back to reality. So this is high level witchcraft that they're putting out. And it's detrimental to your body. That's why we tell brothers and sisters, man, get off your phone 2 hours before you go to sleep so you can sleep better. So rising power bills and rampant water use tend to be at the top of the mind, yet it's increasingly clear that data centers will have impacts far beyond this, with real implications for communities' well-being. While the rise in data centers is all but inevitable, it's inevitable. This enterprise has to come. Okay? Esau is running forth with this full steam ahead. Let's get a precept. He has to come with this. And he's not slowing down. All right. Now this is Revelations 12. And furthermore, letting you know what you need to do. This is Revelations 12 and 11. And they overcame him, which is who? The beast, the dragon, the devil. All right. These Edomites that rule the earth, the so-called white man, the one that's in power. Okay. And every single Edomite in general. There's no such thing as a righteous Edomite, okay, from your hillbilly that's messing with his sister to your Rockefeller Rothschild that's controlling your banking. Okay, they're all wicked. Verse 11, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb. So we overcome them by who? By Yahawashi's blood. By the price that has been paid. And by the word of their testimony. And by what? By this testimony. By us coming out here preaching, teaching, laying it on the line. Let's get the word testimony. We all have a testimony, man. Okay? Testimony.
Strong's G 3141. Marturia. Marturia.
Marturia. And what? It means a testifying. The office committed to the prophets of testifying concerning future events. What one testifies, testimony, i.e. before a judge. Who is the ultimate judge? Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. All right? And we're down here crying. We're testifying. We're crying out. We're relaying and we're saying and we're telling the Father, hey, this is going on, this is going on, this is going on. All right? These people deserve, they need judgment. And we're staying blameless and perfect in this. Because we came into this truth and we know what to do now. So we know better, we do better. So we're going to cry out. We want to be back with our husband, which is Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. So we're crying out because another man is trying to rule over us and take care of us. Okay? But you got some of our people, they run to that other man. And that's being a harlot, man. That's committing adultery. You are married to the Father and the Son. That's where you're supposed to be. You have a covenant, a blood covenant. All right? You can't be with nobody else. You can't be with no other religion. You can't be with no other God, man. Okay? Regardless what you want to say, you're not an Israelite. Check your blood. Okay? It doesn't matter what you think. Your opinion does not stand in court. You know what stands in court? Evidence. You know what stands in court? The testimony. People get up on the stand and testify. All right? We gonna get to the bottom of this. That's what we doing. In the Strongs, it says evidence given. Evidence given. The record, the report, testimony, witness. Right? So, bro, all your little excuses, all your little excuses are not gonna make it, man. You understand? You in a court case right now. You're in a court case right now, man. The Halalyam is watching, everybody's watching, and you're being judged. And the ultimate one that's really getting that report is Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Okay, so this is how we overcome the beast. By the blood of our King Yahawashi and the testimony that we're bringing forth. And they love not their lives unto the death. Therefore, and why would you love your life? You love having all these ailments and illnesses, and you love getting sick. You know, you love having back pain and knee pain and all this type of stuff. You love arthritis and, right? You love that, you know, diabetes and all this cancer. You love this type of stuff. It's nothing here for us, man. I don't care if I got rich or something like that. I don't want to be rich in a corrupt ass kingdom. Why would you want to be, this is a burning building. Why would I want a room here? I'm not staying here. And that's our mindset. All right. Verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe, destruction to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. This is why all these effects of these data centers, Esau knows these effects. He knows what it's going to do to the environment. He knows what it's going to do to the water, what it's going to do to the air quality, what it's going to do to the land. He knows, but he does not care. He's coming down with great wrath. If you can't see that, then you're blind, man. All right. While the rise in data centers is all but, as we said, inevitable. Inevitable. I mean, it's gonna happen. You can't stop it. You can't, to you individuals that believe you can do something at the polls, voting. We're gonna vote against the data centers. Now, go ahead, man. All right, watch where that gets you. Nowhere. You can't stop it. Do you understand that wickedness has to come upon this earth? To you Christians, I'm sure you know where it says, hey, like the times of Noah, right? Y'all don't know many scriptures, but you know that one. It has to be like the times of Noah, correct? So let's have a little discussion. What happened during the times of Noah? Okay, it was extremely wicked, right? So earth has to get back to that point. That's where we're going. So it's only going to get worse. So, things have to spiral out of control. All right. It has to get like the times of Noah once again. So why are you sitting here talking about it's going to be peachy clean? It's going to be nice. It's going to, my kids are going to go to college and live out a great life and all. No, my guy. Okay. Let's get something understood. Life is only going to get worse. You understand? He's coming down with great wrath. As we established Job 9:24, he owns the earth. As we established Malachi 1:4, he's the border of wickedness wherever he goes, wherever he situates himself. Wherever he goes, he is the border of wickedness. It doesn't matter if he lives in France, UK, Germany, Russia, America, South Africa, wherever this Edomite lives, he's wicked. It's going to be wickedness there. This is why he has to be destroyed off the earth completely, because his purpose is wickedness. All right. While the rise in data centers is all but inevitable, the way it happens is not. Data centers power modern life and can bring both investment and jobs. Oh, hey, they're bringing jobs. So you mad that they're bringing jobs with these data centers, brother? You mad that they bringing jobs? Come on, man. They destroying the environment. Okay? So individual that says that, it's like you sell out your people. You would sell out your people because you don't give a damn about them. As long as you got a job, as long as you driving a BMW or Benz, as long as you got something nice, your refrigerator full of food, you don't give a damn about your nation. Bro, you mad? You hating on my pockets. Jake will choose money over morals. 2/3 of our people will choose money over morals. All right? That's what they will do. And that's sad. Yeah, these data centers are going to bring jobs, but at what cost? You can get a job at a plant, but you find out that plant is full of asbestos, it's full of all these different type of poisonous gases, and you're working there for 10 years. Now you got cancer. What was the purpose of working there? You understand? You sacrifice your health just for a fucking reserve note, man. Exactly, brother. At what cost your health? You know what I'm saying? And how much more? We dealing with the Most High. As he said, all those that hate me love death. You understand? But Jake, your mindset, and I'm speaking to the 2/3 right now, man. Your mindset is pleasure over pain. And you're going to get the pain regardless by living in too much pleasure. Because you choose the lobster, crab, shrimp, shellfish. You'll choose all these things that are terrible and bad for you because you're in a pleasure mindset. And you say it tastes good at that point in time, but then you're going to have to feel the pain of it later on. Right? This is why right now, you'll live peaceful. You'll live and you'll have all these nice jobs and things of that nature. All right? Forgetting and rejecting Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. And then you're going to have to feel the pain of the ICBM missiles later on because you lived in pleasure so long. Now, while you living in that pain, we going to be in pleasure in those everlasting bodies, in the chariots, looking down at you in pain. Your pleasure time was right now. We suffered and lived in pain, and we made these sacrifices right now. You chose your position. You understand? Because you couldn't wait out. That's what they say in the world. Laugh now, cry later. Where we cry now, we going to laugh later. Because we mourn right now. And we be in myrrh later on. We going to party with Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. You understand? We're not partying with Esau, but you choose to party with Esau right now. And you're gonna be rejected from the marriage. All right, I'm going to get y'all precepts, man. This is Proverbs 14 and 12. And it reads from the brother Kawama War. There is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Exactly. The pleasure, it feels good. It looks good. Hey, I got to take this job, bro. I can't do no more lessons. Like that dude, what's that dude in North Carolina said, or he's in Georgia, one of them. All right. Talking about he got to take this job. He got to do this training. He can't do no more lessons. Come on, man. Okay. Well, maybe you don't need to do that. Okay. You got to get your priorities in order. Let's read a little bit more of this. The U.S. data center boom. Data centers are the physical infrastructure of the internet. They house the servers, networking equipment, and supporting systems. So as the internet increases, more data centers need to be put up. That's the justification that Esau is putting out there to destroy the environment. As we say in our mind with some common sense, if it's destroying the environment, we don't need it, bro. Okay? Why? Because Esau, once again, money over morals. That's what they do. They don't care about the earth. Revelations 11:18. Right? People are mad. People are done with this devil. Revelations 11:18. Let's read it. And it reads, and the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants. Now the dead is representative what? The heathens. Okay? Because you never was in life. And hey, if you stepping in it, you want to be a 2/3, then you're putting yourself in that position of being dead. The congregation of the dead. All right? And that thou shouldest give a reward unto thy servants. The servants is the ones with life, the ones with understanding, the ones that seeked Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi throughout all things, man. The prophets, the servants, the prophets, and to the saints. Okay, so the 144,000 is the men, the prophets, the servants, and then the saints, all right, including them, is also what? The 1/3. The men, women, and children. So it's not just 144,000. I have to state that because a lot of people are still caught up on that. All right? Because they don't truly read the Bible. So you have 144,000 men, prophets, that will be saved. And then you have men, women, and children that may not fall into the line. All right? Men that may not fall into the line of being prophets, and women that will be joined unto those men, or it could be possibly their mother, their sister. All right, you know what I'm saying? So everybody has a different lot. Everybody has a different position. Okay, and to the saints and them that fear thy name. These are still talking about Israelites. It's not talking about none of these other nations, because as we stated, and the time of the dead, that's talking about the heathens. That's who the dead is, that they should be judged. Okay? So we talking about our nation down here. Thy servants, the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and should have destroyed them which destroy the earth. As we reading in these data centers, who's destroying the earth? Esau, Edom. Right? This is what he's come to do. And he's showcasing himself. He doesn't care what he's doing now. He's just doing it. All right. Data centers are the physical infrastructure of the internet. They house the servers, networking equipment, and supporting systems, such as cooling, power backup, fire suppression, and security that keep digital services running reliably. Data centers first emerged in the mid-20th century and proliferated during the 1990s alongside the rise of the internet. So they're not a new invention. They're not entirely new. But what you're seeing is they're being produced more efficiently and at a massive scale. All right. You have Silicon Valley. That's a massive spot. As you can see on this map, right down there is Silicon Valley. You know, that's a massive spot for data centers. All right. As you can see, you know, over here in Virginia, okay, you know, massive spot. Down the East Coast, right? A lot of data centers are being built there. A lot in Texas, a lot in Oregon. You got a massive one being built up in Utah. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Chicago over here, right here. You got a lot being built there as well. So they've been what they've been doing is they've been planting seeds for their master plan. Now everybody is catching on. So data centers first emerged in the mid-20th century and proliferated during the 1990s alongside the rise of the internet. But today's expansion is unfolding at a much larger scale. Now, what did we say? He's coming down with great wrath, right? What does that mean? That's a much larger scale and faster pace than ever before. That's great wrath. I mean, come on, man. I'm preaching to the choir. I hope. It's fueled by billions of dollars in private investment. And I'm going to show you who those private investments is. right? Everything that's happening, you can trace, find the money, find the paper trail, and you're going to see who's behind it. And hey, y'all could guess right now. Y'all already know who behind it. We know who behind it because we in this truth. So we already know who's funding and making all these things. But hey, I'm just, I got to talk because we got new listeners all the time, right? So yeah, Amalek, most definitely. The Amalekites, the head tribe of the Edomites. That's who's behind it. So it's fueled by billions of dollars in private investment, state tax incentives, and federal directives aimed at fast-tracking, permitting. So federal directives such as Trump passing 6G bill to speed it up. He's speeding the process. So the government is aligned with the private sector to bring these data centers. You understand? The government is aligned with Amazon. They're aligned with Tesla. They're aligned with Google. They're aligned with Microsoft. They're aligned with these companies to bring these data centers forth. These policies are prioritizing large AI-related facilities in a bid to strengthen U.S. competitiveness. Because, hey, China's doing it. We got to catch up to China. So as you can see the map right here, all right, as we just talked about it, these are where a lot of data centers are being built and placed. They're actually building one in my hometown of Rockingham, North Carolina, over here, man. I'm like, damn, like it's a town of 40,000 people. That mess about to mess them up. That's all I know. And then that mess about to mess them up. So when a data center comes in, it raises your power bill, it raises your water bill. Hey, the brother said, and in rural Hall, North Carolina. North Carolina, man, we got certain cities like Charlotte, Winston, Greensboro, Raleigh, Durham. We got certain big cities, but we ain't like that. So when a data center comes in, all right, it's gonna affect heavy. These small towns are gonna be hit the worst. You know what I'm saying? Brother said as well as Charlotte. So let's read a little bit more of this, and I got a 10-minute video that I gotta play because it's gonna bring forth. It's a lot changing, man, and Amalek is behind it all, and it's beautiful because we know by these things happening. All right, hey, our time, man, we almost up out of here, man. He's coming down with great wrath. These facilities can take many forms, ranging from small server rooms inside of office buildings to massive standalone campuses, the size of hundreds of football fields. Like I said, you got small ones and you got big ones. All right? And they can also be used as what? We know they're going to be disguised and used as sea camps. Along with, let's pull this up real quick. I ain't went into this in a while, but Esau has been slowly implementing his master plan, man, over the years. All right. Let me see. That ain't it. Man, the internet, they probably done scrubbed it, but they used to have it where you could see all the FEMA camps and the locations. FEMA camp locations by state map. No, FEMA camps. Maybe if I type in prison camps. These type of things they try to keep under wraps because they don't want nobody to know about it. I ain't got Pinterest, man. These same things, internment camps or the alligator Alcatraz, all these type of things, right? They've been building these things up for decades. This ain't just start. What is this? All right, this is. Let's bring this back up. This interactive map below shows the location of many important detention internment facilities operated by the U.S. government during WW2, which had persons of German ancestry from the U.S. and Latin America. Clicking on the map location will link you to more detailed. That ain't it, but these things could be used because understanding in WW2 after Pearl Harbor, right? They began to persecute Ammon and Moab and just lock them up in these internment camps. All right, and people of German, right, which are Edomites, all right, but if you fit the bill. So it's showing you how the narrative can be pushed. And if you fit that category, you'll be thrown into these facilities. Now, these still stand. But this ain't what I'm looking for. Right? But this is just showing you how they got camps and things of that nature. And they trying to make it hard today. Conspiracy theory. It ain't no conspiracy theory because this shit is real. But I ain't about to go on forever looking for it. All right. But actually, let's go into this real quick because this ties. So, as you can see, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? And 10 includes Alaska. 9 includes Hawaii. Right? Yep, Obama brought in all those guillotines. Trump brought in firing squads. Okay. So let's go to Revelations. The 11th chapter. Yep. Hey, brother already posted the precept. Booyah, booyah. All right. All right. So I'm going to start at verse 11. And after 3 days and a half, now that's talking about 350 years. Okay. From 1619 to 1969. The majority of the Southern Kingdom was brought to America in what? In 1619. Okay? Majority of the Southern Kingdom. Southern Kingdom is what? Levi, Judah, Benjamin. Okay? That would be your Jamaicans. That would be, well, let's say it in the order I just stated. Levi would be Haitians. Judah would be your so-called Negroes. All right? And Benjamin would be your so-called Jamaicans, Trinidadians, etc., etc. So they were brought from wherever they were. Africa, Ireland, Scotland, UK. As you can see, some stayed, and still lived there. We have evidence because look at King James. You had individuals still in power, but you had individuals subject to slavery as well. Okay? So, Southern Kingdom was brought. Northern Kingdom was already here. And they were being trafficked to Europe. They were being trafficked to different lands. They were being pulled from their homeland and sent other places. So it was a massive scattering. But let's read this again. And after 3 days and a half, 1619 to 1969, the spirit of life from power entered into them, the Holy Spirit. And they stood upon their feet. So we were dead. We were lost. We didn't know who we were for 350 years. And great fear fell upon them which saw them. So when we came out, 1969, Elder Abba Bibbins came and brought this truth. And it started trickling down. You know what I'm saying? You got elders getting it and everybody getting it. Hey, these Edomites are standing upon, they're scared. They're in fear now. And that fear ultimately led to them coming down with great wrath. because they see now that, hey, they woke up all over the planet. You don't think they're monitoring and watching us? Bro, you know they are. They make it where our videos, it's only 9 people in here. But you go to a dumbass, you know what I'm saying? It'd be hundreds of people in there because they don't have the truth. So where the truth is, it's limited. It's shadow banned. It's cut off. So these people are standing in great fear because they see us standing and they know that this is a prophecy. Verse 12, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither, and they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. Now this is talking about what? Around the time period of when the ICBM missiles are coming. The chariot shall come and get us. All right, going back to that elect, the 144,000, which is the servants, the prophets, and the saints, which is the 1/3, the remnant. So that's who's going to be brought up into the chariots. Verse 13. And the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, and the remnant was affrighted and gave glory to the power of heaven. Right? So as we just read, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 parts. You have 10 parts of America in these 10 FEMA zones. So the 10th part, meaning the entire country, will fall through nuclear war. And the elect will be delivered, beamed up, all right, saved at the nick of time. Brother got a precept, Isaiah 26:20. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment, until the indignation be overpassed. Exactly. So we want to go into those chambers, man. We want to get up out of here and be saved. All right. Give me 1 second. Because I really want to find that, man, I remember a couple years ago, you could easily find the FEMA camps, but now it's like hard to find anything, bro. And they done been scrubbing it. They scrubbed the internet heavy during 2020 and 2021. But I ain't about to linger on it because I'll be looking for it all day. I'm going to find it, though. And that'll be, you know, Esau, I'm about to get in your ass because that's a whole nother lesson. All right? When I find these camps. Is this it? This might be it. Nah, I don't think this is it. But the point being is they got hella camps all over the you know, all over the map. But hey, let's get back into it. So back to the article. These facilities can take many forms, as we read, ranging from small server rooms inside of office buildings to massive standalone campuses the size of hundreds of football fields. This last category, often known as hyperscale data centers, have drawn particular attention thanks to their size, rapid growth, and substantial impacts on local communities. The one in Utah is a hyperscale. It's massive. Right? We can look into that real quick. The approved Stratus project in Box Elder County spans up to 40,000 acres. Damn. 40,000 acres. Over 60 square miles, making it over 2.5 times the size of Manhattan. For operational hyperscale sites, the current largest is the Nova Data Center in West Jordan, spanning 100 acres with 1.5 million square feet of space. Okay? So, like we said, they're not just in America. They're all over the planet. You got one in Jordan. All right? That's the land of Edom. You know? So, and you got, a lot of them, Moab is building them. Okay? Don't think for a second that China and the US ain't working together and getting points from each other. Hey, how you build these data centers? How you doing this? What you doing with this? How do y'all get y'all, how did you set up your 15-minute cities? Okay. All right, keeping it going. So it's approved, and it was approved this month, May 2026. This massive AI data center with over 40,000 acres in the Hansel Valley and will require up to 7.5 to 9 gigawatts of power at full build out. The building footprints will only comprise a fraction of this total acreage, with the rest serving as open space. So the amount of power that this thing is using, and how are they getting these power? They're getting the power from, the thing about power is you get power from water, from these dams. That has been a problem in Las Vegas for so long because they built it so far out from water, and they're getting it all from Lake Mead, where they it's a crisis with the power. They use these dams, and you never need it. Esau's entire system is wicked and crooked. All right? You don't supposed to have no damn dams, man. You do the dams to create power, but you're actually blocking life, and you're blocking, the water that's supposed to flow through the land. All right? So, this thing right here ain't nothing good gonna come of it. They're really just running America dry with all this wickedness they're bringing. There were just over, let me bring this back. There were just over 3,900 data centers across the United States as of late January, nearly 37% of the world's total. Yet market trends suggest that hyperscale development is highly concentrated in just a few regions. These areas function as national hubs for cloud and AI infrastructure, hosting a disproportionate share of large-scale facilities relative to their size. Now, what is Esau trying to do? He's trying to be like the Most High. Let's go to Isaiah 14 chapter. All right, Khan, yep. And the brother said, Khan, and they're making the people pay for them. This is why electric bills are through the roof. Exactly. As we read earlier, who's funding these things? The private sector, the government, and state incentive taxes. So you're paying for these things through your taxes and through your power bill and through all of that. You have to pay for a data center if you live close to it. That right there enough should piss you off. That right there enough should piss you off. All right. Isaiah 14. And I start at verse 4. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how has the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. So that's the conclusion of all of this. This golden city is going to cease. All the wickedness that this devil is bringing is going to cease. Yahawah is going to take that golden cup from his hand. It's been took. All right. That's why he's coming down with great wrath, because he know he has but a short time. Yahawah have broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. Okay, this is the day where the rulers are trembling. Let's get that real quick. Ecclesiastes 12:3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. The keepers of the house is the what? The Edomites, the rulers, the ones that are ruling over. So they are trembling. Why are they trembling? Revelations 11:13, Revelations 11:11, 11:12, because we're standing upon our feet. Right? We have life now. So the dead is afraid. They're terrified. They hope that this wasn't true. They hope that these prophecies wouldn't come to be. But they're coming to be, man. Yo, that's why we rejoice. Verse 6, Isaiah 14. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted, and none hindereth him. Putting all these data centers up in a town, destroying their water infrastructure, having them pay for it, destroying the air quality, destroying the soil, right? That right there is oppressing and having a continual stroke. Because you put a data center up, that's going to be there for decades upon decades. Bro, we can't live. You understand? You got these dumb, man, trying to keep the lie. I'm going to be cool. But you got these idiots, man, sitting here talking about America is good and all that. Bro, look at what they doing. Look at what they doing. You cannot live due to the things that they're allowing to be developed. This is crazy. But you want to continuously live here. This is why people are fleeing and going back to their own lands. They're getting out while they can. Y'all trying to save Babylon. Verse 7. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. When this devil is done, the whole earth is at rest. They break forth into singing. That's what we're going to do. The animals, all right? The plants, the trees, the rocks. Everybody is going to rejoice when Esau is brought down low. Okay? The water. It's life in water, man. You can drink living water, which I hope you know the difference. All right? It's a major difference. Let's actually, I'm going to do that. I'm going to show that. Because most of your water in your damn sink is not living. Let's get a video.
Water, and as much as I loved explaining over and over again, I am excited to announce my water class video is finally finished, where I compiled 32 plus hours of research, video editing.
I don't want to hear all that, man.
Testing water filter.
Dang, can somebody just give me an easy one? Everybody trying to advertise they little dumb shit. Nope, not this one either. Let me see. Maybe this one.
The problem is distilled water, again, has been cooked, boiled, and it's somewhat dead. It's like cooking, an orange and eating an orange fresh or eating an orange cooked. Which one's better for you, right? You want the fresh orange. It's healthy. It's got all the enzymes, oxygen, minerals, vitamins, nutrients, fatty acids. So when you restructure water, you can change its energy. For instance, you could put in a few drops of lemon. It's restructured. You could put it in a magnetic cup, which I used to sell thousands of these magnetic cups. When water sits in a magnetic environment, it charges that water and actually splits the molecules so it absorbs better. It's now twice as absorbable because instead of a cluster of 8 molecules, it's now 16. So because it's finer. So there's a lot of little technologies and tricks you can use. And again, I put this all in one system. The problem is...
Yeah, and you're right on that. All right, all of that. That's why, it's good to start your day with lemon water. All right, just drinking lemon water. Now, lemon water, or whatever it may be. Now, I actually want to find a video where it shows you. Maybe Jay could do it. Nah, hell nah. That's a Christian. All right. But pretty much, living water, it comes and it twists. It twists. That's how you know it's living. When dead water, it just falls dead. All right. So, like the pipes. This is why they changed all the pipes from copper, right, to whatever they are now. You know? Because the water used to be living coming out of your sink. It used to be living coming out of the water hose and things of that nature, man. The water used to be living. But now, since the minerals and all of that, the life is not in the water no more. And the water is getting beat up. Okay, yeah, water getting beat up. It's going from pipe to pipe to pipe. And there's no life in that. It's not copper. It's not gold. It's not silver. Okay, it's all trash. So therefore, what are you drinking? You're drinking trash. Aquafina, Dasani, Fiji. That's all sewer water. That's all that is, man. That's all sink water with a damn label on it. That's all it is. They'll have on the bottle ultra filtrated. I mean, it went through so many damn processes of filtration. Ain't no life in that. That's why everything is concentrated. That's why, hey, you want to drink, mineral water out of a glass, such as Saratoga, Mountain Valley, right? Icelandic. You know what I'm saying? This is water that has minerals in it. Going back to Gad. Gad used to drink water out of streams, out of rivers, and that water flowed from the mountains, and it hit all these minerals, it hit all these rocks as it came. So when you drinking that water, it's got rocks, it's got minerals in it. Yeah, you ain't tasting the rocks or nothing, but it's got those minerals in there. So your body is being full of life. When now you getting all your water from these pipes that's killing it, it's not living. So that's the, and then furthermore, Esau is building all these data centers, tying back into the point, and the water is not having a chance to evaporate, because you got precipitation, you got evaporation. It's not having a chance to evaporate into the clouds. It's going straight into these data centers. So the water it's not going to rain no more. Right? That's ultimately what he's doing. He's running the earth dry. He's running the earth dry, man. Keeping it going. These areas function as national hubs for cloud and AI infrastructures, hosting a disproportionate share of large-scale facilities relative to their size. Now, going back to Isaiah 14, because Esau wants to establish his what? His cloud. All right? That's his chariot. What do the chariots do right now? What are the Halalyam doing? Right? Yahawah's eyes are what? 10,000 times brighter than the sun? Because the Halalyam are going forth and making a report in the clouds, in the chariots. Esau needs to establish his cloud, his chariots. All right. So this is Isaiah 14:9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee. Even all the chief ones of the earth it has raised up. From their thrones all the kings of the nations. And they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Every nation that Esau has took over, they're going to have a chance to mock. They're going to have a chance to look at him and be like, dang, you did us dirty. Now you down here. Now you in a compromising position. Okay? You killed us. Now they killing you. It all came back to you. Verse 11. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. The songs, the doctrine, the understanding that they was bringing, the wine, All right, their excitement, their celebrations. We're not gonna have to endure another Pride Month. You know, we're not gonna have to endure all these goofy parades. We're not gonna have to endure Christmas, Valentine's Day, all that type of stuff. Never again. Verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? This is like, people stupid. And I'm gonna just say that they are. Because how can you read all of this that we just read, and you get to this point, you get to verse 12, and you say, that's an angel? Are you stupid? Did you read any of this beforehand? Did you read any of this? This is what? The king of Babylon. All right? What are you talking about? All right? That's what I'm saying, bro. That's why I don't entertain Christians no more, man. They don't read. I don't think they can read. Like, honestly, they don't read, man. Okay? Let me clean my phone real quick. Salaki. All right, so verse 12. Because this is their conclusion. How art thou fallen from heaven? And that heaven is what? That's their rulership. O Lucifer, son of the morning. How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Lucifer, light bringer. They're bringing a particular light. It never said it was a good light. Okay? They call themselves the enlightened ones. They worship the owl. They worship a giant owl. Right? They worship all these different type of creatures. The snake. Things that can see in the dark. Things that follow their characteristics. They're cunning. They're sneaky. They're subtle. Right? So let's keep it going. Let's come back over here. Now once again, the conclusion is they're going to fall from their heaven. They're going to fall from their rulership. They're not going to have the ability to do all this wickedness that we're reading about. All right. Right here. Virginia, often described as the data center capital of the world, hosts the largest number of facilities, followed by Texas and California. Together, the top 10 states account for roughly 60% of all data centers nationwide. Yep. Virginia. Virginia is what? It's home to the weather program, Mount Weather. Okay. It's home to the FBI, the CIA. Okay. All these alphabet boys. So that they would have major data centers there because that's a major place where they're tracking us. That's what the alphabet is doing. The alphabet boys. When I say that, I'm not talking about LGB. Fuck them too. Okay? But I'm talking about the CIA, the FBI, etc., etc. Okay? So they're tracking us heavy. They got the red list, the blue list, all of that. They're tracking us heavy there. So hey, they're standing out major. As 566 data centers, with Texas behind them and California third on the list. So it's wild, and it's gonna increase. All right, and I'm gonna finish. We're gonna get off of that. Okay. We never could find them FEMA camps, but it's all good. But these are the numbers over here. Same thing with the data centers, as you can see. Look, they increased 603 now. 603. So that 576, that was old. They're increasing at a rapid rate. They're coming down with great wrath. That's what Esau is doing. He's coming down with great wrath. Let's see how many in Texas now. 461 in Texas. Over here, it was 391. So this man almost went up by 100. 287 in California. 287, same number. All right. They're increasing fast. And they don't have that one in Utah yet. But hey, stuff is popping. It's moving quick. And bro, we don't have long. With Esau establishing all his data centers to track you, to run his AI and all of that, we don't have that much long, man. So this ain't no time for you to be bullshitting. Okay? I can't state that even more, you know. That's the truth. Let's go into this a little bit. Data centers are built by collaborative ecosystems of tech giants. As we said, tech mongers, specialized co-location providers, engineering firms, and general construction contractors. The process is driven by the funding companies, designed by architectural and engineering specialists, and physical constructed by large-scale builders, etc., etc., etc. All right, you know they have a Esau has the floor plan, the blueprint for all this, and he knows what he wants to do in that region, whether it's gonna be big or it's gonna be small or whatever. Right now, furthermore, hyperscalers, mega technology companies that build massive campuses for their own cloud networks and artificial intelligence training. Leaders include Google, Microsoft, Amazon Web Services, and Meta. Right? And we know the owners of all of that, okay, is what? Is small hats. All right? I believe Elon also is a small hat. I have to look into that more. But this is Esau, man. Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta. All right? And some of these CEOs and leaders, they went over there with Trump to China to get better acquainted with how to build these systems and how to run and how to bring this information. Okay? Now, I want to go into, play this video, and we're going to go a little bit into NVIDIA, and we're going to wrap it up right there. I know this one running long, but, hey, if it's hitting, if you're getting some good information, which I pray you are, all right, then Thawadi Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, Halalyam Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. All right, fair use, fair use. Let's go.
More than half of all AI data center construction projects worldwide are being canceled or delayed.
Half of U.S. data centers planned for 2026 are expected to be delayed or canceled.
Breaking news on the Bloomberg terminal. Oracle and OpenAI are apparently ending plans to expand that Texas data center site.
Considering that in 2025, more money was spent building data centers than on housing construction, this is a big deal.
Hey, John, so Google is now planning to invest $40 billion in new data centers. Amazon is pumping $20 billion into Pennsylvania. $500 billion investment from one of the biggest tech companies.
One of the reasons is that there is an incredible bottleneck in the electrical grid, since these centers already consume close to 2% of global electricity.
Millions of Americans could suddenly lose their power this winter as the nation's power grid deals with an increased strain. This is thanks to surging numbers of data centers opening.
Even so, most of these data centers obtain around 60% of their electricity from fossil fuels. And due to rising prices caused by the war in Iran, these costs are spiraling out of control.
But right now, gas prices.
All right, let's stop it right there. So, hey, wrath, when you're moving in wrath, you're ultimately moving in haste. You understand? So Esau's moving in such a great haste, such a great wrath, that he can't even match what he wants to produce. He don't even got the energy to produce it. His thoughts is not matching up with his energy. So he has to come up with ways. That's why he went to China. Hey, how are y'all funding all these data centers that y'all building? How are y'all running a whole city off of AI? Explain that to us. So this is Job 20 and 23. When he is about to fill his belly, Yahawah shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. And that's talking about them ICBM missiles coming upon his head. So he's about to fill his belly, because that's what we're seeing with this big brother system that he's trying to establish. Okay? So, like we say, yeah, it's gonna get up. The MOTB is gonna be made mandatory. Okay, but it's not gonna be crystal clear how he wants it to be. He has to get over these little, bridges that he's coming to, and at these bridges he's meeting certain problems. So hey, it's beautiful because he's moving in haste. He don't even got enough energy. But once again, he doesn't care if it's gonna take all your energy. As the lady said, man, what did she say? Let's go back to that. What was that? This one?
Into Pennsylvania, $500 billion investment from one of the biggest tech companies.
One of the reasons is that there is an incredible bottle.
But I'm trying to find it where basically she said people was, they power was getting shut off because of these data centers. That's the type of mindset that Esau is moving with. He doesn't care how it affects you. He never did. What did he do? What did he tell Gad? He told Gad, man, get on that trail of tears. This our land. Get to stepping. Okay? What has he been doing? And y'all people acting like this is new. He ain't gonna do it. Gentrification, man. What has he been doing for decades? Moving Jake out of this neighborhood and building all these businesses and stuff up here. If you build businesses and stuff and parks and all of that, it's gonna raise the property value of the land. So therefore, individuals that was living there, their rent is gonna rise, and ultimately, if their income is not rising, then they're ultimately gonna have to move and go to a least desirable place, and that's what gentrification is. All right, Esau constantly is raising the property taxes and the property value of the land and moving out the less desirables, which is the niggas. I didn't put it any other way, man. Jake, all right, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, he don't want you to live in a nice place. He don't want you to enjoy life. He wants to have you in the hood where people is up to no good. You understand? So let's go back. I think I went a little bit too far, but I'm gonna just go back to we was right here. Right here. Oh girl, Becky with the good hair, so-called. All right.
Suddenly lose their power this winter as the nation's power grid deals with an increased strain. This is thanks to surging numbers of data centers opening.
Even so,
and this is going to be tied to blackouts, all right, purging, civil war. Okay, when the grid go and the internet go, hey man, I hope you know what to do. You better start praying. Okay, you better be praying continuously without ceasing right now. These things are coming regardless if you believe it or not. Like I said earlier, your opinion does not matter, Jake. These things are coming. They're on the rise. All right.
Data centers obtain around 60% of their electricity from fossil fuels. And due to rising prices caused by the war in Iran, these costs are spiraling out of control.
But right now, gas prices are rising again. The price at the pump has been jumping every day, driven by the war in Iran. Everyone feeling the pain. Here's where the numbers stand right now. In Pennsylvania, a gallon of regular will cost you $4.58. That's up 8 cents from yesterday.
In addition, the numbers do not add up. Experts estimate that NVIDIA, the largest producer of chips for this technology, is overestimating demand.
What we're seeing too is...
Real quick, let's go into NVIDIA. Oh, right here. I got it up. NVIDIA is a publicly traded company that is not owned by any single entity, but is instead collectively owned by a mix of institutional investors, individual shareholders, and company insiders. Now, who's the main two? Ding, ding, ding. Anybody know? Right here. Okay. You can see them on the screen. Institutional investors, the largest portion of NVIDIA, are owned by major asset management firms. All right. That hold shares on behalf of mutual funds and ETF clients. The top institutional shareholders include the Vanguard Group and BlackRock. If you don't know about Vanguard, BlackRock, Blackstone, then you need, that's your homework. All right. When I say that and you don't know who I'm talking about, that's your homework. Go into Vanguard, go into BlackRock, and go into Blackstone. Okay. Now, just so happened that you had BlackRock, Vanguard. They was what? They was with Trump, and they went over there to China to get some information on how to run these data centers more efficiently. Okay, yo, we putting them pieces together, baby. All right, over here at Great Millstone, man. We putting them pieces together. You understand? Our elders, apostles, and bishops is putting them pieces together. Okay? It's not that hard. You know? These individuals that's all on bullshit, they not making no sense. The truth is with the true men of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. So Esau has his hand in all of that. It's a monopoly. Right? He'll just establish different type of investment companies to make it look like it's not a monopoly, but it's a monopoly. He controls everything. You got eight companies that control everything. All right, let me pull that up real quick. In the grocery store. And they all owned by Esau, the Edomites, man. Okay. Ahtham widely cited behind the brands company highlights 10 major, but actually I think one of them got bought. Corporations that control the vast majority of food, beverage, and household products on grocery shelves, while often grouped as 10, the Big 8, most frequently referenced as owning nearly everything in your local supermarket include Pepsi, Nestle, Unlever. They got bought. Unlevered. I believe so. And then the Coca-Cola Company, Mars Incorporated, Mondes International, General Mills, and the Kellogg Company. And all they do is produce bullshit. For Jake that shop, yo, you go in the store. Next time you go in the store, do this. Everything in the middle is trash. Everything on the outside is alive. Where's the fruits and vegetables? They're on the outside. Where's the meat? Where's the butcher? That's in the outside. Where's the water? That's on the outside. Where's the cereal? Where's the chocolate? Where's the Pop-Tarts? That's on the inside. Where's the processed foods? That's on the inside. Okay? Where's the fruits and vegetables again? They're on the outside. So everything you need is on the outside that you should be eating. Yeah. It's exceptions like ketchup, but even the ketchup is fucked up. Okay? You know, ketchup, barbecue sauce, all that shit got high corn fructose syrup in it. You understand? Yeah, we eat it. It's all defiled. You know? So I don't never really go in the middle. I don't go to the processed food section. I'm not in the freezer section. I'm not buying no damn pizza rolls, Hot Pockets, shit like that. I'm not there. No. You know? I'm going to get what Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi created. I'm going to go get some kale, some asparagus. I'm going to get some fruits. I'm going to get some vegetables, some oranges, you know, et cetera, et cetera. What did the Most High create for me to eat down here? I don't want nothing that got Kellogg Company on it. So furthermore, yeah, just a little quick point. Let's get back, man. We're going to begin to wrap it up. All right.
Supply right now is constrained, and I'm sure you've heard a bit of this. And what's happening, and it's going to get exacerbated over time.
This has caused tech companies like Google, OpenAI, and Oracle to buy enormous quantities of chips and GPUs, assuming a future shortage that now appears to be false.
For its first 30 years, NVIDIA wasn't a household name, unless you were a gamer. But now, some of its original fans feel left behind as the memory shortage pushes the world's most valuable company to prioritize its massively profitable AI chips over gaming GPUs.
So, why tech companies are...
Booyah. Yeah, and if you're a gamer, you PC game, you know about NVIDIA, right? Now, as she said, that was a key point. Let's run it back. Let Katie with the good hair run it back.
Over gaming GPUs.
So,
prioritize its massively profitable AI chips over gaming GPUs.
Booyah. Massively profitable AI chips over gaming CPUs. So they really changing their whole company's way of doing things. Because who owns them again? Vanguard Group and BlackRock. Vanguard Group and BlackRock. So Amalek hit that green light. They said, hey, it's time. It's time. Chips. It's time. We coming down with great wrath. It's time. So they coming down heavy, man. And their stock drove up. Now, guess what? They stock drove up so high. They're valued at the highest now. They're in the trillions of dollars. So they're the most priced company. I can't find a word for it, but they're the top over every company. It's NVIDIA now because of chips. You understand? You see how that changed overnight? That's crazy. All right?
So, why tech companies are quietly canceling AI data centers. Since the public release of ChatGPT at the end of 2022, the tech industry entered an unprecedented race to build the infrastructure needed to sustain the AI boom. What started as a flashy innovation quickly became a strategic priority for the world's largest companies. Within months, companies like Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and Meta began announcing multi-billion-dollar investment plans focused mainly on the construction and expansion of data centers.
Meta continuing its massive investments in AI, this time in the form of compute power, announcing 2 new major AI data centers.
Amazon investing another $15 billion into northern Indiana to build an AI data center campus.
By 2023, global spending on AI-related infrastructure had already surpassed $200 billion. And just 1 year later, in 2024, that figure practically doubled. In 2025, it is estimated that the largest tech companies allocated nearly $400 billion in capital expenditures, much of it directed toward data centers, specialized chips, and cooling systems. To put this into perspective, that annual investment exceeded the total amount spent on single-family home construction in the United States during the same period. A sector that...
So, they care more about what? They care more about building these data centers than building houses. And got, putting people in houses and homes. Okay? I'm going to get a precept real quick. This is Revelation 6:5. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. Now, does that mean stuff is going to be cheap? No. Okay, we broke this down many times. A penny is in reference to the denarius. Okay, all right. A Roman silver coin in New Testament time, it took its meaning from it being equal to 10 asses. All right, so this is what you know as the modern day wage, what you get paid in a day. Now, what's the modern day wage? Let's look that up. Modern day's wage. All right. The modern day's wage in the U.S. varies significantly, of course. All right. The minimum wage is tied to California law, $20 an hour for fast food workers, generally $16.50, whatever. All right. So let's just times that by 8. You know what I'm saying? Because you work maybe 8 hours a day or more. Okay. So let's times it by 8. And get what you can make in an average day. So we'll do 20 times 8, and that's what? 160. Okay? So that would be a day's wage. That would be a penny, a denarius. Because back in the day, you ain't got all these dollars. You're going to get paid with a coin, with a Roman coin. So that's what that scripture is talking about. As you can read, a Roman silver coin in the New Testament time, it took its name from it being equal to 10 asses or 10 donkeys, a number after 217 BC increased to 16. That's inflation. About 3.898 grams or 1375 ounces. It was the principal silver coin of the Roman Empire. From the parable of the laborers in the vineyard, it would seem that a denarius was then the ordinary pay for a day's wages. Right? So that's what the word penny is going into. So your bread, let's read it one more time with that understanding. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny. So a loaf of bread is going to cost you around $160. You understand? A day's wage. That's how much bread is going to be. And 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. Okay? So it's coming through inflation, and that's what? That's hyperinflation. You can say that never happened. But look at Hurricane Katrina. When a bottle of water was like $10. These things can happen, man. All right. When gas out here, I'm paying $6.30 a gallon. $6.30, man. No. I ain't talking about the time. I'm talking about how much I'm paying to put a gallon of gas in my car. All right. And that's going to jump up to like $10 or more. Let me look this up real quick. Because they show you this in the movies. This was gas prices in I Am Legend. All right. $6.65, $6.95, $7.25. That's where we at right now, bro. That's where we at right now. This shit that wasn't fake. And these people were zombies, man. So we in those times, man. Show you it with Will on the screen. Okay. $6.63, $6.87, $6.95. This is where we at. And it's only going to increase. This shit right here, man. We here. So, hey, when you buy some food, you buy some canned goods, man. You might want to buy 2. You might want to buy 3 if you got the money to do so, because stuff is going to increase. We ain't talking about prepping, but just having a little bit in the shelf, man. Because when all this transpires, these people is going to be like a rat race. They run into the grocery store and stuff is, because people are in a panic to get everything, because Esau cares more about building data centers than actually feeding and clothing and housing people, everything's going to be raised because Esau knows that everybody's going to come and they're going to buy and they're going to pay whatever it is. They don't care the cost. They got to feed their baby. Milk, $20 a bottle. Okay, whatever. They're going to be flooding in. So this is what we're talking about, man. And furthermore, the caption in that is famine. When it's less food, the food is going to be priced at a higher rate. It's going to be higher to buy these type of things because it's less of it. What has Biden been doing and Trump been doing? Telling the farmers not to farm. Right? Telling them not to farm, limiting their resources, limiting their water, and making it hard for them to produce food and crops. And you don't think that that's going to trickle down? You don't think that's going to have an effect on the food supply? All right, let's get it going.
Has historically been one of the largest recipients of investment in the economy. But there is a problem. The vast majority of these investments in data centers were made based on simple overestimations that are now falling apart.
As you alluded in your intro comments, like, is this a repeat of the metaverse project, which I think a lot of investors, never really kind of understood the return on that. And again, I think investors do understand the return.
The investors that's not in the loop, they don't understand what's going on. Metaverse. They have now produced a Earth in a digital scale. All right, that's what they're doing. They produced the Earth in a digital scale where it can be like Ready Player One, where you put on your VR headset and you go and live in VR. They don't want you to live in real life no more. Life is gonna be so shitty and so bad. You gonna go to VR and live, and you be like, no, that's not. Well, we go play video games. We watch movies. We do all of this to try to get away from this bullshit. Because we being oppressed, man. All right? And we Israelites. So in oppression, what do? We produce babies more. We get with our woman more. All right? After a hard day, we trying to sit back and get some pleasure. So, hey. And that leads to Jake drinking, smoking, doing all of that type of stuff because they spirit, they seeking demons and things of that nature. They seeking a fix because they so oppressed. It's nothing wrong with sipping. All right? But you gotta do it in moderation. You can't allow that spirit to overtake you and to have you doing things that you're not supposed to be doing.
On AI, but it's at such a level that I think it's for projects that, don't even reflect the current business today.
But to understand this, we need to focus on the role NVIDIA plays in all of this. Due to the AI boom, demand for GPUs has exploded, and NVIDIA, being the world's largest supplier of these tools, has also grown at an astonishing pace. In 2025, it reached a $5 trillion market valuation, making it the most valuable company in history.
Move over Microsoft. Chipmaker NVIDIA is now the most valuable company in the world, worth more than $3 trillion. Yes, that is trillion with a T. It's surpassed Microsoft. That's why we keep saying move over Microsoft. Shares of NVIDIA are up a whopping 174% since the start of this year.
But this also came with a major risk. Any significant change in its price could have implications for the global economy. One of the major problems emerged when suspicions began to arise that most of the investments and projects NVIDIA planned to carry out were heavily overestimated. In an interview with CNBC, Jensen Huang stated that the company was distributing around 10 gigawatts worth of GPUs in 2025 alone. He made this statement at the same time NVIDIA was announcing that it would invest more than $100 billion in infrastructure for OpenAI.
I am here at NVIDIA headquarters in Santa Clara with the CEO of the world's most valuable company and the CEO and president of the world's most valuable private company, Jensen Huang of NVIDIA. Sam.
What did I say earlier? Follow the paper trail, where the money is going. Now, NVIDIA is owned by who? By Vanguard Group and BlackRock. So who's really investing all that money? That's Amalek. That's the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, etc., right? So they're putting all their money in developing this AI infrastructure, which is gonna run their beast system. I'm gonna let it play out, man. But that's pretty much it, man. That's it. We got you. You've been exposed.
Altman and Greg Brockman of OpenAI. So let's dive right in to the news. Jensen, NVIDIA is making a $100 billion investment in OpenAI.
As a result, rumors about circular deals began circulating heavily in the news. However, the problem goes even further. An estimate from Goldman Sachs suggests that there are currently 7.7 gigawatts of data centers in operation worldwide, far fewer than what NVIDIA claimed to have distributed in 2025 alone. While some experts suggest that these estimates take into account projects currently under construction and future projects, even then, Jensen Huang's claims appear to be enormously exaggerated, and examples of this continue to come to light.
According to Heatmap, 25 data contracts were canceled in the last quarter of 2025, and 99 of the 770 planned data centers it tracked that year are now being contested.
In April 2026, Bloomberg reported that Oracle and OpenAI's flagship data center in Texas had postponed its expansion plans. The fact is that even if all the data centers in the world replaced their current GPUs with new ones every year, NVIDIA's graphics card production would still far exceed demand. Now, adding the fact that a large portion of data center construction projects are being cancelled or delayed, the estimates become even more dramatic. But it gets worse, because even if all future construction projects are completed successfully and none are cancelled, NVIDIA's production would still exceed demand.
What we're seeing too is supply right now is constrained, and I'm sure you've heard a bit of this. And what's happening, and it's going to get exacerbated over time. So by 2030, our estimation is that imbalance in supply demand could be up to 10 gigawatts.
But perhaps the biggest problem NVIDIA and every tech company involved in data center construction projects are facing is the shortage of electrical components coming from China. According to Bloomberg, the biggest bottleneck facing data center construction is not necessarily the chips needed to run AI, but getting the electrical infrastructure required to support it.
Exactly. And I'll stop it right there. All right. But pretty much this is why Taiwan, okay, never forget about Taiwan, is a major component. It's a major part of all of this, because Taiwan produces 60% of the world's chips. So they have that infrastructure, to keep it going. This is why China is on their head. They want to take it over. What you're seeing really is a chips race. Because chips go into everything. Chips is a part of the future of this planet when we're talking about heathens running it. Okay, but we know the heathens are not going to run it. But in their mindset, they need these chips. They need these data centers, because China has a lot of data centers as well. All right, so they need these chips. They need these data centers, etc. And anybody producing them, they want them to work with them, or they want to take over them. That's why China would, that's why the U.S. would go seeking help from China. Right? So, hey, this has been a conclusion, of data centers and chips and things of that nature. Pray this was edifying. The water for all the precepts y'all brothers brought and all the support that y'all did to help the lesson. All right, facing the east, giving all praises, honor, and glory be to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kakodash. As always, double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone. Shalawam, Shalawam to the hopeful elect. Kwam Yasharahla and abide, Babal. Until next time, man, keep the faith. Shalawam, Shalawam.